in the United States. Our next guest, though, has lived in Mexico for most of his life, and he says more Mexicans are feeling like President Trump's proposal to get involved is the only viable path to dismantling organized crime. Joining us now is a professor and a former Mexican security official, Dr. Caleb Cram. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, Doctor. Cram?
Absolutely perfect.
Cram. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Okay.
Thank you, Will. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I'm glad to have you on the program. This is really fascinating. First of all, you have your finger on the pulse of it. I do want to share with you and the audience this poll. That's Mexicans in favor of U.S. military action against drug cartels. 34% in favor, 66% suggest they are against that action. But based upon the protest we saw this weekend, what's
in favor, 34%, 66% not. See, the problem I can't really take all of that in is when you're in a government or your society where truly, if you give your opinion, jokers might come knocking at your door. So I'm like, I don't know. I think it's probably closer to that 66 in favor. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Leave a comment. I think it's kind of closer to that 66 in favor. I think it's reversed. See, just like how she messed up the numbers when it came to depreciation in housing values, I think they're messing it up right here too. Because I don't see how, if you've lived your whole life under this chaotic regime where they allow drug lords to just run around, jump in people's houses, shoot them, kill them, hang, cut off heads, hang dead bodies from the bridge, and nothing's been done about it. Oh, and there's only 34% of them are in favor. Come on, man. Let's be realistic.
Being called this Gen Z movement, Doctor, what do you think the attitude is in Mexico?
I believe there is a shift, a drastic shift on the perception of the average of Mexican people. Gen Z was not only a protest, it was a generational outcry of a protest that we said it's enough. It's enough. And we believe that President Trump and the U.S. help may be more welcome than ever before. So, and I believe it's very clear. You know, Trump was signaling what Americans already know. Cartels run Mexico like parallel states, and strikes aren't the first step. We know that the U.S. can.
God, these jokers is ripping up the place. Look at that. They are ripping up the place. Let me make that wider. Hold on, let me make that bigger. These jokers are ripping up the place. Look at that. Wow.
And are now fighting cartel finances. So
that's Mexico City, yo. Mexico City, you see it up there? That's Mexico City.
Supply chains and weapons flows without occupying any territory. The problem, Will, is Mexico's government. Many politicians owe their careers to cartel financing.
Ooh.
Until that political criminal nexus.
He said many politicians owe their careers to cartel financing. Wow. And you wonder why we don't want them over here? And you wonder why we keep saying what we say and y'all say that we hating and we're being racist against Spanish and racist against Mexicans and bigotry. It is a con. It is a con. It is a con. And the average Americans, after you guys take your trip down to your most favorite hangout spot in Mexico, you do your trip down to, what's the name of the spot? Tulum. Or you go hang out in Mexico City. You think that because you're coming through the city and you're visiting, you're like, oh, this is beautiful. They letting you pass through because you're a tourist and you're paying your money in it and it's fueling their economy. Dude, these people are dealing with a lot of crap. And on the tail end of that, imagine they run to the U.S. illegally. This is vicious. And the cartel chases them to the U.S. So when they get here, you guys are like, oh, you're being animals. No, I love Miss Juarez. Miss Roberto. I love Miss Roman. I love that. She's a very nice. When I go into the Spanish restaurant and I get a taco, when I get a tequila, when a tequila, I don't do that. Burrito, when I get some, I'm good. I love the food, love it. But somebody followed her through the border that doesn't like me. They not like us. And if they're doing this against the people in their own country, what the heck do you think those people are doing in our country? Bro, I wish people would actually wake up and listen, man. Wake up and understand. You're pointing fingers at Trump. Hey, Trump isn't good. And dude, look at what's taking place in their country. Look at what they're fighting for. If the numbers are 34%, and I don't know, I can't really say that they are. If he says that they are, okay, we take them. And they're saying it's coming from the youth, the young people. So some of these people look like young people. A lot of them look like young people. Look at that. So if it's coming from them, right, and they want to change, why the hell do you sit back and argue on your lane behind social media channels, your lane behind accounts of not taking care of this? Like, why do you argue for people to stay here? Why? When they're here illegally. See what they're doing. They're ripping this up. It's a violent protest. And this looks very eerily similar to LA. It does. I see eerie similarities to LA in this. I do. Y'all don't get it, man.
Is broken, strikes remain a serious tool. And we can see Plan Colombia, for instance, shows how can you support anti-cartel operations without controlling the country. Mexico could do the same. And Sheinbaum's, unfortunately, is managing the war from the shadows. Using intelligence, drones, and precision strikes will help Mexico, not sending troops into open combat, perhaps.
Okay, that's the question. The last question here. To what extent would Mexicans welcome U.S. involvement? Targeted strikes, troops on the ground in action? And by the way, is that enough to extricate the connection, as you point out, between politics in Mexico and the drug cartels?
The point is that, you know, that the history between Mexico and the U.S. has been always, very on the top of Mexicans' mind when the U.S. intervened Mexico and took half of its territory. So that's on the top of Mexicans' mind. So, we were taught at schools about this intervention, you know.
They still holding the grudge, and you want them in the land. They holding the grudge about land that they no longer own.
So, but one way of doing it is...
Meaning what?
I mean, the
Texas,
US,
California, Arizona, you're talking about that?
Yeah.
The way you learned that story?
They can have California. Keep Texas. They can have California. I think Gavin Newsom is already paid off in California. That's my personal opinion. I think some cartel people slipped him some money, and Gavin Newsom is paid off.
In school?
Absolutely. And the problem is that, you know, it's the narrative. It's the official narrative from Sheinbaum. No, I mean, she keeps saying, you know, if we allow the U.S. states to come in, you know, they will take half of the territory once again, and so on. So, but the issue is that the U.S. has overwhelming advantages. You don't need boots on the ground to hit cartel command centers, meth labs, or fentanyl corridors. We have WAP surveillance, cyber disruptions, financial targeting, and precision drone strikes that can cripple operations with a minimal risk. And for God's sake, I mean, we had Plan Colombia, and then we now have Petro's on power. If Colombia has lost any sovereignty, explain me how Petro rise to power. So I don't see any issues whatsoever. You know, if we could actually open our our borders and have the U.S. cooperating with Mexico.
Well, that's a fascinating perspective to hear from the Mexican side of the border.
I mean, the fact is, do I think it'll ever get done? No. And why? Because the president's prideful. She's paid off, and I believe there's a lot of officials there that are actually paid off. I believe some of our people here are actually paid off, and now that's allegedly speculized. I'm just speculating. The moves that they make don't show America first, and it does cater to the Mexican immigrant, the South American immigrant that crosses the border and wants to stay here. Instead of actually finding a legal way, a legal change and advocating for change in immigration, they didn't do that. They just let them in. Just let them in. So to me, if you never really know, if you ignored the issue and now you notice the issue and you still don't address the issue, companies benefit from it. We know that already. American workers, the American economy benefits from people that do jobs that Americans don't want to do. We know that already. Why not come up with an immigration program that meets their needs, that satisfies them, that has a level of compromise, and we can get the best of the best. We can get the people that work hard, the people that love being here. But unfortunately, no. Nah. They won't do it. They won't never do it. Somebody gotta say it. Y'all keep acting like it ain't happening. You want to cover your eyes and you want to run away. Good for you. Go ahead. If you want to run, just realize times are changing where it's not going to be too much places for you to run and hide. And the sad thing about Black America is we don't know, until we see. And then we start pointing fingers at each other, the government, this person, that person, and we get into a mode of self-pity. We're telling you. Go ahead and follow Al Sharpton. He knows best.